Hi guys, just wanted to take a few minutes to go over our app to give you the progress report. There are some problems with it that we'll need to troubleshoot. I don't think they're major, but I will go over those at the end, and we can either Zoom or Slack, but we'll discuss it and come to some resolutions. Just to get started, here's the index.html, which is for this purpose just the Bootstrap radio buttons to make the survey to test it. We have the type of pet, cat, dog, the size of pet, small, medium, large, gender of the pet, coat of the pet. This is one of the problems, and I will talk about that at the end so we can decide what to do about it. I have a recommendation. The age of the pet as baby, young, adult, or senior. At the bottom, we have our on-click event here that pulls the API object and from this HTML and sends it to the server, which will then drop it into the database. We have our server.js, which will activate the server on the local host 8080. The API routes are what are going to make the API call. So it's going to pull the information from the Pet Finder API and drop it into the SQLized database here, or create the rows. The schema, pets.js, which exports the SQLized information into the database, the actual survey information. And the HTML route, which is how this gets to here, and so forth. So the first thing I'm going to do is activate the server. And we have our port listening on 8080. So we've got our survey here. I'm going to just refresh this so that we can see that it's activated and navigated to the local host. We'll do a quick survey saying I want a dog who's large, male, and I'll say medium coat. Actually, let's go for wire, and a young dog. Submit. And that is wrong. Oh, no, it isn't. Here's the object. We've got our dog, large, male, and with a wire coat. So we have our object there. I can go to the database, refresh that, refresh the rows, and you can see that the pull I just got was the dog, large, male, wire coat, and young. So the data is dropping into the database. So there we have our minimal app. So what are some of the problems that I'm having right now, or we're having right now? First of all, it doesn't seem to be able to handle the photo array. So I have a photo array here. When I run this, it gives an error that SQLized cannot handle a photo array. And I think it's just like a single submit. As you can see, it's executing and inserting into pets the ID, the type, size, gender, coat, age, etc. There is something I looked up called, you can use in SQLized called bulk insert that has to do with arrays. So some research has to get done on that. And we can figure that out because we do want to get the photos. The other problem we're having is the description. I cannot remember what the error is for description. Oh, it says unknown SQLized database error, unknown column. So where I ran this app before, it dropped the columns in. I'm not sure this is not part of the survey, so I didn't think it should be on the on-click event, but maybe I could give it a try and see if it'll drop in the database if I add it here. The next problem that I ran into is that on the object, I'm only getting one row at a time. So I wanted to ask if that is okay, if that's something we wanted to do. I sort of had in mind that when we submitted the survey that we would get a results page that would display a number of potential pets, maybe 6 or 12 or 8 or something. So that's something we can discuss. One of the other things I wanted to point out is on the API routes, I'm still running this with the keys exposed. I have had some problems getting it to run in the .env environment. That's something I can try to work on tomorrow. It's getting to be 9:30, so had a long day at work, and yeah, so I don't want to work too late tonight. The coat may be a problem, but I believe there is a solution to it. One of the errors that I was getting is if I chose a cat and put curly for the coat, I would get an error saying that cats don't have a curly coat. So I imagine if I picked wire, it would not have a response for that either, or we would get an error for a response for that. Same thing with dog. I didn't try it, but with hairless as one of the options, I'm thinking maybe we could just split the survey to say options for a coat on a dog are curly, wire, long, short, medium. And coat options for a cat would be hairless, long, medium, and short. I'm sure there are no dogs that you can get that are hairless. You get those weird cats with no fur on them, which is kind of strange, but it's an option. Or we could just take coat out altogether. But I did want to have some, at least 5 questions or so that the survey could, that the user could input. The description, I think I already mentioned, or maybe not. It does not seem to be able to handle description. Maybe we could just add that column to the database and then it would probably accept it. Description is not an array, so it should be able to be on the database. Once again, I'm thinking on the results page of the results.html page, we should be able to have the dog's ID or dog or cat's or pet's ID number, their type, all of the user input from the survey, but also include photos and a description of the pet. So there's our app. Those are some of the problems that we need to troubleshoot, and that's it for now. I wanted to get your input and also see that while this is working at this point, if I could go ahead and save it and get a pull request from you guys to get it up on the master, and then we can work from there. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk maybe tomorrow sometime.